And following the Iranian missile attacks on U.S. forces, the White House has announced a new round of sanctions in retaliation. One America's Rion has more from the White House.
President Trump signed an executive order to Congress invoking the Emergency Economic Powers Act. These latest sanctions cover Iranian textiles, mining, and manufacturing sectors, placing these sanctions under the purview of Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Secretary of Treasury Steve Mnuchin. In a joint press conference shortly after President Trump's executive order, Mnuchin and Pompeo clarified these new sanctions will apply not only to textiles, mining, and manufacturing, but also to those who seek to do business or assist Iranian assets in any way, shape, or form.
17 specific sanctions against Iran's largest steel and iron manufacturers, 3 Seychelles-based entities, and a vessel involved in the transfer of products. As a result of these actions, we will cut off billions of dollars of support to the Iranian regime, and we will continue our enforcement of other entities.
Both secretaries emphasized how secondary sanctions are to be imposed upon foreign financial institutions, as well as sanctions placed on 8 senior Iranian officials. These latest sanctions bring the grand total of Iranian sanctions to a whopping 1,000, currently shackling the Iranian regime from the outside world and greatly debilitating its ability to function economically.
The goal of our campaign is to deny the regime the resources to conduct its destructive foreign policy. We want Iran to simply behave like a normal nation. We believe the sanctions that we impose today further that strategic objective.
These sanctions differ from past sanctions in its drastic breadth and scope. The last round of sanctions in 2019 affected banking, oil, and shipping sectors. These new sanctions affecting construction, textiles, mining, and top Iranian officials will have a debilitating effect on the Iranian regime, and Pompeo notes will have a significant impact on Iran's leadership in particular.
And we're striking at the heart of the Islamic Republic's inner security apparatus. These sanctions targets include the Secretary of the Supreme National Council and the commander of the Basij forces. That's the regime's brute squad, which has in the last few months killed approximately 1,500 Iranians who were simply demanding freedom. Our action also targets other senior leaders close to the Ayatollah.
In response, Iran has dismissed these new sanctions as largely symbolic. Ironically, the U.S. media seems to be siding with the Iranian assessment once again, dismissively portraying these sanctions as, quote, largely symbolic and, by implication, ineffective. However, considering last year's sanctions forced Iran to raise oil prices and very transparently turned the screws on Iran's entire economy, these new sanctions are not only symbolic, but their impact will be lasting and excruciating to an already desperate regime. Rion, One America News, the White House.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.